Coming up, live cricket, Derbyshire-Leicestershire today 3:30 Sky Sports 1. Live Greyhounds, Puppy Derby tonight 7:30 Sky Sports 2. Live football, Glentoran and Man United tomorrow 7:30 Sky Sports 1.
You're watching Sky Sports.
This was the scene earlier today as rain peppered the Irish hills of southern Michigan, delaying the start of the Michigan Indy 400. Some fans took the chance to visit with their favorite drivers by getting autographs, doing interviews, and, trying to find them. Some were hiding in the garage area. Some were hanging out in the motor coach. And, of course, one owner, A.J. Foyt, explaining how he almost drowned by getting upside down on his bulldozer this past week there in Texas. But now the track is dry. We're about to go racing. From Michigan International Speedway, it's the rain-delayed Michigan Indy 400, the 13th of a 17-race schedule. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee alongside Larry Rice. And, Larry, we're finally going to go race this afternoon. The question is, can he do it again? Scott Dixon's won 3 in a row.
Well, it's going to be very tough because Dario Franchitti has a very fast race car here today. So does Hornish, so does Castroneves, and Dixon starts a little ways in the back. This hasn't been his best racetrack, so if he gets his race car set up right, though, it's all about the race car and how fast it is here at a racetrack like this.
Well, Dario Franchitti did win this first pole position of the season yesterday in qualifying. He had a pole earlier this year based on points because qualifying was rained out, but he won the pole yesterday. He'll start alongside Sam Hornish for the 4th time this season. Sam will start up there in the front row. So Dario and Hornish occupy the front row. In the second row, the winner here last year, Elio Castroneves and Scott Sharp, who's making steady progress with his new team this season. They'll occupy row 2. Castroneves going, of course, for a record of 7 poles in one season, but didn't get it here this weekend. Dan Weldon and Thomas Scheckter. Scheckter, a 2-time pole setter here. Of course, he won this race back in 2002 as a rookie, driving for Eddie Cheever Racing. Move to row 4 on the inside. There's Scott Dixon. He only trails Franchitti by 24 points in the point standings. He starts inside row 4 alongside Tony Kanaan. Kanaan with some gear problems yesterday. Did not qualify all that well, but he expects to do well in the race here today. Danica Patrick also had some problems. Only got 1 lap to qualify. She was not pleased with her effort. She'll start inside row 5, but Ed Carpenter has to be pleased. He continues to make progress, and he'll start outside row 5 alongside Danica. In the 6th row on the inside, there's Vito Mira. Boy, he's looking for that first win. Second here a year ago. 7 times he's finished second, still looking for that first win. There is Ryan Hunter-Reay, his second race for Ray Hall Letterman after that 7th place finish 2 weeks ago at Mid-Ohio. In the 7th row on the inside, Marco Andretti expects to have a good car for the race. Did not qualify all that well. And remember, he has struggled this year on the ovals. And Koski Matsura will qualify for an outside 7th row starting position. In the 8th row on the inside, a couple of drivers that cut their racing teeth on ovals. A.J. Foyt, the 4th inside, and Sarah Fisher, who loves this big, wide, high-banked racetrack. Kind of reminds her of Winchester, Indiana, where she did so well in midgets several years back. In the 9th row, Buddy Rice on the inside. He struggled somewhat again this weekend in getting that car set up to qualify. And Darren Manning also not happy with his effort, but he feels like he's got a pretty good car for the race, driving for the legendary A.J. Foyt. In the final row, both these drivers had trouble in practice yesterday. Milka Duno crashed entering the pits in the morning session, hit the inside pit wall, and John Herb had a crash late in the practice session in the afternoon, so did not get a chance to qualify. The points, 3 races ago, Larry, it was a 65-point margin for Franchitti. We thought it was a foregone conclusion. It was his championship to win. And then Scott Dixon rips off 3 straight wins. And during that time, Franchitti finished second twice, third once, but that lead has been cut to 24.
Unbelievable. Scott Dixon has just been unbelievable the last 3 races. He's very good on the road courses. Everybody knows that. Watkins Glen, he's won twice before, so he's won 3 in a row there. But I can tell you, what was really surprising, he made one of the best moves of the year at Nashville when he took the lead and passed 2 cars going down the back straightaway.
Well, of course, this could be the final race for this racetrack in a 40-year history of racing the Indy cars here, and we'll explain that as the race progresses. But one of the guys that had such success here was Al Unser Sr., and he's going to be the guy to give the command. So now let's join the public address system.
Race fans, it is time for the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome back 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner Al Unser Sr. to give the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine.
One by one, those Hondas fire to life. And finally, after about a 4.5-hour delay because of rain, we're going racing. And rain has been a nemesis of ours all season long. Of course, Indianapolis, we were plagued with rain. That was rain shortened. We were plagued with rain at Nashville. Had to come back the next day, and here today.
Yeah, it's been just kind of a bad year. Realistically, though, all through the United States, it's been a dry year. There hasn't been a lot of rain in most parts of the United States, and this is one of those parts. But on race day, it certainly let go. This morning, it rained for about 6 straight hours, delaying this race. But it's still overcast, but it's looking like we're going to get to go racing right now.
The farmers love this because the crops really are in need of rain throughout the Midwest. But for race fans, it's been a long, agonizing wait. A very low cloud deck. Now, I don't know if visibility would be a problem at these speeds.
No, it won't be a problem. It is low. I suppose if it dropped bad enough, there would get to be a problem. But right now, these drivers are focused on the task at hand, and you can see quite a few people stuck around. A lot of people are leaving.
Well, this racetrack has not been a good one as far as history is concerned for Dixon or Franchitti. You can see a finish of 5th in 2003, but after that, neither one's been too stellar here.
No, and that's doesn't bid well for either one of them in this race, although Franchitti has been very fast. Frankitti's just had a terrific year. Both of them have, really. I mean, they've both had terrific years, and Scott Dixon right now is the guy that's on a roll.
And that looks like the John Herb car, who he crashed in practice yesterday, so the car did not qualify. Starts at the back of the pack. Keep in mind for Franchitti, he finished 7th in the opener, had a 5th place finish at St. Pete in the second race of the season, and after that has not finished out of the top 4, including 3 victories.
Well, that's right, but in the meantime, Scott Dixon reels off 3 in a row. He's run well all year. He's been up front. He's been in a position to win more than 3 races, quite honestly, but sometimes, you don't get that break that you need, and Franchitti in a couple instances has gotten a break.
Well, keep in mind that before he ripped off those 3 straight wins, he had finished 2nd on 3 occasions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He put himself in a position to win a lot of races. Franchitti has done exactly the same thing. I mean, he could have very easily won at Nashville. He could have very easily won any of these last 3 races that Dixon finally won.
Only 3 IndyCar drivers to win 3 in a row. You see 2007 with Dixon, then 2005 with Weldon, and then you saw the 3 there with Kenny Breck. He was the first to do it while he drove for the legendary A.J. Foyt. Quickly as they get lined up, we mentioned A.J. in that Caterpillar accident. He was in a bulldozer actually on Thursday on his ranch up north of Houston on the edge of a pond, and the bank gave way and the bulldozer rolled over upside down into the water, trapping him momentarily underwater. He was able to extricate himself, got up on top of the bulldozer, which was submerged, and had to wait for 15 minutes for help.
Yeah, he actually swam out the front of the cage of that bulldozer, and 72 years old and bad legs and bad feet, he still was able to swim to the top, so that was a good thing.
There's Milka. She also had a problem in practice yesterday, came into the pits, and it really wasn't hard braking. She downshifted into first, upset the chassis, and made contact with the inside pit wall. Now, this is actually a new chassis the team has picked up, so her other chassis becomes her backup. That chassis she had been running on all the ovals was really a road race car to begin with, so they're happy now to have a backup car.
Yeah, and she's she's learning this process. The ovals are tough, and even in a place like this, you have to feel comfortable, and you have to you really have to get the car so it gets through the air. And sometimes they don't feel comfortable when they're not getting through the air when they are getting through the air.
Well, and for a road racer to come here and run these speeds, I mean, the qualifying speed yesterday was, what, 349 kilometers. To run these kind of speeds consistently is a far reach from what she's used to.
Right, that's right. And on a racetrack like this, the whole key is to keep your foot on the throttle. Anytime you lift, even slightly, it's going to cost you. So it's going to be a whole new learning process, and you got to learn to keep your foot on the throttle.
Well, we should get the green the next time by. Again, there is some confusion as to whether this will be the last Indy-type car race at this event or at this racetrack. As you take a look at the former winners in today's field, because the IRL and this racetrack could not come up with an appropriate date for next year's schedule. So we don't know if the efforts will continue to bring them back in 2009, or if there was a big article in the paper that this could be the last race.
Yeah, I think they will eventually get a date that they can all agree to. Next year's schedules were pretty well set for Michigan and for the IRL. Michigan just didn't like the date they were given, and I'm sure they'll continue to try to work on that, because this is a very historical race for all IndyCar racing. They've been running here for 40 years, and it's a shame to see it go away.
Well, now they're going to come by this time. They will not get the green. However, they will start to score the event this time by. It's a 200-lap event. The track is 3.2 kilometers in length, 18-degree banking in the corners. The front straightaway, which is actually D-shaped, banked 12 degrees. The back stretch, 5 degrees is the banking. And this is a super fast racetrack with multiple grooves. I mean, we've seen them 4 wide down the straights and 2 and 3 wide in the corners.
Yeah, they're going to get this green flag, start racing next time by. There you see the starter with the 1 lap to go signal for these cars. So they'll start pulling up in their 2 abreast formation down the back straightaway, get this thing ready to go.
Well, you have to tip your hat to the IRL officials and the track officials for getting this track dry. Obviously, a bank track will dry faster than a flat track because the water does run down off the banking, but they got it dry in about 2.5 hours, Larry.
Yeah, they certainly did. They've done a great job. The real problem happened to be the pit exit down underneath the yellow line down in turn 1. There were still some weepers down there, still a little water, and they wanted to make sure they had that all dried up, because those drivers, by the time they get through turn 1 and onto the back straightaway, they'll be running close to 300 kilometers.
They've been racing here since October of 1968, and the list of winners at this racetrack is a virtual who's who of American open wheel racing. As they come off the corner, it's Franchitti and Hornish in the front row, Elio Castroneves and Scott Sharp in the second row, as the green flag flies finally here at Michigan. Well, you see him 3 wide coming off the corner down the back straightaway, and look at this battle up in front. Franchitti down low, up on the high side is Hornish. Hornish likes this type of fast racetrack, says in fact he likes it to be a little slick. It's a green racetrack right now with all the rain we had overnight and this morning. Take a few laps later to get some rubber laid down.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different. You can see that bump right after the start-finish line. Everybody's telling us that bump there is a little worse than it has been in past years, and the lower you can run on the racetrack, the better off you are down that front straightaway. Of
course, these tough Michigan winters are difficult on the racetrack because it actually gets that up and down motion as it freezes and thaws, and can really create some huge bumps in this very wide racetrack. See how wide this racetrack is, Larry? The widest racetrack we've raced on all season long, and some of the highest banking.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to use that groove that's maybe 3 grooves up. You can run a couple of grooves, and you see they're doing that quite consistently through all the corners. There you can see them almost 3 wide through turn 1.
Well, I think you're going to see the groove widen out as they get more rubber down in the next 20 or 30 laps.
As soon as they get off the corner, you see them tucked back in behind the car in front of them, trying to do 2 things: save fuel and get a little suction and use that draft to try to pull them around the car down and going into the next corner.
Well, this is the second longest race on the schedule, 640 kilometers, and these drivers are predicting up to 5 pit stops here this afternoon. So pit entry and pit exit is vital for the driver, and of course the pit stop itself vital for the crew.
Yeah, there'll be at least 5, maybe more depending on how the yellows fall down, but they'll have to stop at least 5 times, so it is going to be very important. What you can see back there is Dixon tried to get underneath Scott Sharp. He almost got below that white line. You don't want to do that.
There's some weepers down there.
Yeah, there's some weepers down there. Plus, if you get below there and pass someone, you could get a penalty. So he was very careful. He touched that white line, then pulled back up so he didn't get below it.
He goes by Scott, and right behind him is a teammate, Dan Weldon. So Dixon now moves up to the 4th position. Franchitti has led from the start with 42nd, Castroneves 3rd. Castroneves won this race last year with Vito Mira in 2nd and Dan Weldon 3rd. Other winners, of course, Thomas Schechter in the field. He won here in 2002, and Buddy Rice won in 2004.
Yeah, Thomas Schechter moved off the bottom up into the 2nd groove, and when he did that, he lost a couple of spots, so he's fallen back a little ways. He thought he could go to the outside and maybe make a pass, but when he did that, he lost a couple of spots, and I'm sure that wasn't the way he had it planned.
This is the racetrack where drafting is vital, but also you have to put your pedal down and leave it down. This is a wide out, wide open racetrack.
Yeah, look at Scott Dixon. He's standing right on the very bottom of the racetrack. Every time he goes through the corner, boy, when he does that, it's just a shorter distance down there. Castroneves moves up a little bit. All he's got to do is get up there alongside Castroneves and get that spot away.
By 7 wickets.
Can England bounce back to level the series in the final test? England v India 3rd test, sponsored by Specsavers, starts Thursday 10:30 Sky Sports 1 and HD1.
The HDI FAP diesel technology we use in our racing car to reduce particulate emissions is the same we use in our new 207 SW and across our range. The new Peugeot 207 SW, the drive of your life.
We saved £87 on our car insurance when we challenged Churchill.
Oh, yes.
And they really do guarantee to beat your renewal price.
Oh, yes.
And if we do have an accident, we can speak to a real person in this country, whatever time it is.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh.
No. Oh, I mean,
come on. Challenge Churchill. If you haven't claimed for 3 years, we really do guarantee to beat your renewal price.
Did the thought of legal costs stop you claiming after an accident? If you or a member of your family has suffered an accident in the last 3 years, you could be entitled to thousands of pounds in compensation. Accident Claims Connect are your route to a specialist personal injury solicitor that can help you win compensation on a no-win, no-fee, no-risk basis. For free advice, call 08000 831 221 today. You've nothing to lose and perhaps a lot to gain.
When is a good deal not a good deal on home insurance?
When your premium has to cover claims made by other less responsible people.
At Direct Line, if you're 50 or over, we offer you a 15% discount.
That's better.
Direct Line, a good deal better. Call 0845 246 3535 or visit directline.com.
Two new fragrances. One for him.
One for her. CKNTU, Calvin Klein.
We all have a credit report. Yours could determine whether you get a yes or no when applying for credit and the rate of interest you pay. So if you're looking for a mortgage or home improvement loan, a new car, credit card or mobile phone, will the answer be yes or no? Credit Expert from Experian lets you access your credit report online, helping you get the yes you want. Take control of your credit history today. Visit creditexpert.co.uk now for your free 30-day trial.
Busca 3 barcos.
¿3 barcos?
Breaking news, we're just hearing...
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Let's just bring some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
A little bit more breaking news.
Thanks very much indeed. Very interesting stuff.
For award-winning breaking news, go to Sky News and be there when it happens.
Victory for England.
It's the record.
Hitting form ahead of the World Cup.
Oh, he's got away.
As the build-up continues, now England face France. Saturday 4:30 live, Sky Sports 3 and HD.
I think right now the big thing for the guys who are not up front, they want to try to save a little bit of fuel. If you can pick up 1 lap or 2 laps on each pit stop, you might be able at the end of the race, it might make a difference. So right now it looked like Dixon right there.
Dixon and Weldon both got high through that corner.
Weldon was on the outside, and when Dixon's front end took off, he had to move up there too. But that's a case where you just leave your foot in the throttle, and even if the car runs up the racetrack a little bit, you got to stick with it and drive it up there.
Larry, this track is so wide that most of these race drivers like to come here and run because it not only is flat out and fast, but there are so many different grooves that they can use.
Yeah.
And if the car does start to wash out, there's room to catch it.
Right. This is when the drivers earn the money. The cars have to be set up well. They have to be fast. The cars are the most, I'd say they're the most important thing for most of this race. But boy, when it comes time to make a pass, when there's an opportunity, that's when the drivers really earn their money. They have to be ready to take advantage of anything that happens in front of them.
Well, the Andretti Green driver is out there by himself with 2 Penske drivers behind him, and right behind them a pair of Target Ganassi drivers. So right now, Franchitti is the odd man out in this 5-car shootout.
Yeah, but he doesn't much care as long as he's in front of everybody else, and that's what he's been able to do up to this point.
Thomas Scheckter looks to the inside of Tony Kanaan, so that's a battle on the racetrack for position. Kanaan right now in the 6th spot. Scheckter is 7th, 8th is Scott Sharp, Danica Patrick is 9th, and 10th is A.J. Foyt the 4th. A.J. started this race back in 15th, so he's making some progress.
Yeah, those first 9 cars really very close on the racetrack, though, and a good battle back there behind Tony Kanaan. As we still look at these first 5 guys, and Scott Dixon, who continues to run right on the bottom of the racetrack, doesn't seem to be able to make much headway on Castroneves when he moves up the racetrack, though. Thought maybe at some point he might be able to stick his nose in there and steal that spot. So far, he hasn't been able to.
Well, keep in mind, Larry, that there are those 3 bonus points for leading the most laps. And right now, they could be crucial in the outcome of this championship. So right now, Dario Franchitti has led the first 22 circuits.
Well, we know from last year's experience where we had a tie that you're right, every point is crucial.
And you saw his last 5 races, speaking of Scott Dixon. The last 3 he had wins, and the one before that was a second. So, boy, you talk about being hot. What's that old song? When you're hot, you're hot.
Yep, that's right.
We'll see if he stays hot here on a cool, overcast Michigan afternoon as they go by John Herb. Put him 2 laps down, and he'll stay down low on the inside of the racetrack. Let him go by, and look how high Weldon is coming off that corner.
Well, John Herb actually was running very well. He was like 12th or 13th quick on the day just before he crashed the other day. So when they put that car back together, obviously they didn't get everything just like it was before because he's the first car to be lapped.
Well, and also they had no chance to test that car.
Yeah, and look at this. Scheckter has gotten around Kanaan, and now Danica Patrick is up there putting the pressure on him. So Danica having another one of a very good run.
Danica has some additional duties this weekend because the Detroit Free Press has hired her as their special consultant, their racing consultant this weekend. So she's been writing articles for the newspaper leading up to this race, and I'm sure she'll have some comments about the race in her article tomorrow in the newspaper. So now with 24 laps complete, Dario continues to lead this thing over Sam and Elio. Larry, we watched practice yesterday and watched qualifying, and the first half of the field was so tightly bunched that it is going to be very difficult to get by somebody because they're so close in speed.
Yeah, it really is. The first 9 drivers were all within like a 1/10 of a second of each other. I mean, it was so close. That translates to a couple of miles an hour, but boy, when you're talking about seconds or time on the racetrack, and you're talking about 1/10 of a second between the first 9, it was truly amazing how close these cars all are.
Look how close these guys come in. Let's see what he does in the corner. I'm speaking of Castroneves, moves up just a little bit to keep that air on the nose of that car, and then he'll tuck back behind his teammate down the backstretch as they go by Bill Caduno in the Sitco number 23.
Okay, well then it looks like we're going to get. No, I thought somebody, the car drop 2 wheels under the line, that's supposed to mean they're coming in the pits.
Well, it doesn't appear everybody's going to the pits on this lap. With coverage of the Michigan Indy 400. They're running just about where they started, except for Scott Dixon, who jumped from 7th to 4th.
Yep. Milka Duno is in the pits. She did drop her 2 wheels down below that white line going down the back straightaway, indicating that's what she was going to do.
Will we likely see some early pit stops later to check fuel consumption?
I think so. I mean, everybody's a little bit unsure. Everybody's taking a guess. I thought they could run about 33 laps. I'm hearing that they're going to maybe come in around lap 30 just to make sure they get in in time.
Well, last year we only had 2 yellow caution periods. Most we had was 5 back in 2002. So this racetrack, you really can't count on a lot of yellows to conserve fuel.
No, and they've made it much more difficult to conserve fuel. You don't have the fuel gauge on your dash anymore. You used to be able to lean down the mixture just a little bit, but Honda took that away from them. So everybody runs exactly the same fuel mixture all the time. So
you don't blow. Here's a problem. Somebody going across the infield. That looks like John Herb again.
Yep. Looks like he had a problem. We talked about him not getting that car put back together very exactly like it was yesterday, because he was pretty fast yesterday. Obviously had a problem, got into the wall, the back wings knocked off of it, so it slid down into the infield. I don't think he actually got to that. I think he got stopped before he got to the inside wall.
So we'll complete lap number 30 under yellow. The first of the afternoon. We talked about only having 2 last year, and the most we had were the 5 caution periods in 2002. Let's see if we can pick up again on what happened.
Yep.
Just by himself.
Yeah, the car just took off. I would not be surprised if something mechanical went wrong with that car, because he was already out on the straightaway pretty much when that back end went away. So he might have had a tire go down or something mechanical give up on that car when they replaced it. Something, because he didn't hit the wall all that hard, but it did just.
It was more frightening when he came back across the track in front of people.
Exactly. That could have been very disastrous back there. Everybody was paying attention though, and everybody missed him.
So this first regular pit stop will be made under yellow. We saw Milka come in. The pits are still closed. We saw Milka come in under green, and then go back out just before that yellow came out. Johnny Rutherford, a 4-time winner here at Michigan, drives the pace car. Another 4-time winner being honored here this afternoon is Gordy Johncock, the 2-time Indy 500 champion, who lives not that far away. In fact, for much of his life and driving career, lived in Coldwater, Michigan, which is about a 40-minute drive from here. He is here being honored this afternoon as a 4-time winner. Of course, A.J. Foyt, the now car owner, is a 2-time winner. And one guy that liked this track was Bobby Unser. 7 times here he was on the pole.
Yeah.
He had some nice comments to make about this racetrack.
Certainly did. The pits will be open here next time by, I believe, and you're going to see wholesale pit stops. Everybody will come in to not only check, put new tires, get fuel, but kind of check their gas mileage as well.
Well, we'll see how quickly this Andretti Green team can service Franchitti, because obviously these drivers would love to gain a position in the pit area.
Well, we do know that the right front tire changer on Marco's car has switched over to Franchitti's car. It should be Mike Horvath. So if that's the case, and they did that because they felt like he was a little quicker on that right front tire and might give them a little bit of an advantage. So we'll see if that happens.
Now you see the crews have the tires laid out. They'll all head for pit lane out of the first yellow of the afternoon as John Herb, in a 1-car accident, makes contact with the inside wall and almost got the outside wall. So very slowly they come down to their attention to their individual pit crew. First of what could be 5 or 6 pit stops this afternoon. This race goes 640 kilometers.
You can see everybody heading in there.
Franchitti gets his service in 7 seconds, and Sam was 7.5. And
wow, look at that!
Almost contact coming out of the pits.
A real jam up getting out of the pits.
Well, Franchitti, look at that. Dixon picks up a spot. Castroneves loses that one. Kanaan picked up 2. Patrick picked up 1. Weldon lost a spot. Schechter lost 2 spots. So these drivers want to pick up those positions in the pit lane. It makes it easier. It's very difficult to pass somebody here in Michigan. We should have the green this time by Larry, with Franchitti out in front, then Hornish, Dixon, and Castroneves in close pursuit as they come off the 18-degree banking onto the 12-degree banking of the front straightaway. Schechter was out there in no man's land for a while. He was real high, and then Scott Dixon got high. And look at this, 3 wide with Schechter on the high side.
Yeah, that's Patrick on the inside, Weldon in the middle.
And then look at Mira. Mira goes up and make it almost 4 wide, as high almost to the wall as he could go.
And while Weldon and Schechter were kind of battling each other, trying to see who could run the highest on the racetrack, Danica Patrick went by both of them on the bottom of the racetrack.
And Tony Kanaan has gotten around Castroneves, so Tony now up to 4th. Elio falls to 5th. Danica is 6th. Then it's Weldon in 7th. 8th is Schechter. 9th is Mira. And 10th now is Marco Andretti.
Well, Kanaan got a great run on the outside. Patrick got down to the inside of Castroneves. Looked like she might have a chance to get around him. That whole pack, though, just swapping back and forth.
Well, Kanaan had a run on the high side of Dixon. He's still up there on the high side.
Schechter, he's got another run, and he's got back around Danica Patrick. So a lot of shuffling going on back there. And boy, this doesn't take much to lose a spot or two. You just lift your foot off that throttle just a slight bit, and it's going to cost you big time.
Well, there's Kanaan on the high side of Dixon, and up a little higher is the 3 car, and then look at the 10 car of Weldon.
Yeah, Weldon came storming right back after he got passed back there, right back towards the front. Schechter right behind him, trying to make something happen.
Look at Kanaan, though. Kanaan going for 2nd.
And what those guys are doing is they're trying not to lift. When they move so high on the racetrack, they're doing that because if they lift, then they're going to lose a lot of ground. So if there's cars in front of them too wide, they have to go 3 wide in order to keep them getting out of the
And look at Marco. This is going to be 4 wide down the backstretch.
And that was a pretty gutsy move right
Look
there.
how high Marco is on that racetrack, Larry.
Yeah,
Nobody told that kid he couldn't run up there.
Yeah, Mira's been running that high, and he just stayed up there on the outside of Mira. Mira's been running higher than anybody else on the racetrack since the green flag fell here this segment.
Well, look at Tony Kanaan, who's up to 2nd. 3rd now is Castroneves. Then Hornish, Weldon, Dixon has been shuffled back to 6th.
Wow, these guys.
Oh, look at this. 3 wide, the teammates on the outside of Hornish. This is why this track has been so great, and this is why race fans do not want to see racing like this go away from Michigan.
Yeah, it's always been like this. It's always been where you could run 2, 3 wide most of the time, all the way through the corners, very wide corners, and you don't lose anything by moving up the racetrack. And it really has made for great racing for years and years. Right now, though, those guys from 4th on back really jockeying with each other.
This is a replay of the pit activity.
See if we can see exactly what happened with Hornish.
Well, they adjust the front. They adjust the front wing.
Yep. They did adjust the front wing. Not sure that it helped him all that much as he's
back in 7th.
Back, yeah. So I think maybe they went, whatever they did, they went the wrong way because he was way, way better than that before.
Well, Scott Sharp has not made any improvements either on that pit stop because he's back in 11th after he started up in the 4th position. So he can't be too happy with how that car's working.
Yeah. Castroneves did not have all that great a pit stop, but boy, once he got back on the racetrack, he's been a tear. He's running in 3rd position, and Weldon and Scott Dixon back in lockstep, following each other, this time with Weldon in front.
Well, Kanaan rides in 2nd, so we have the Andretti Green teammates out in front. And of course, we heard Kanaan say earlier that he would do whatever he could to help his teammate. He wants to win this race, but if he can help his teammate. But right now, for anybody to get to Franchitti and have a chance to lead this thing, they've got to get by Kanaan.
Yeah, but believe me, if he's fast enough to go up there and get around him himself, he will, even at this point of the race. Because these guys, even though they're teammates, if they don't win, they got.
But at this juncture, he's aware that there are 3 bonus points for losing those points.
Oh, yeah,
so why take those points away from your teammate? Let him lead. When you've got, 3/4 of the race to go, let your teammate lead and run interference for him.
Oh, look at that. Those guys both got below that white line right there. Nobody gained any spots, but for whatever reason, they both got their tires below that white line.
And look at this. Look how wide he is on the racetrack. That's Scott Dixon, and there goes Scheckter up behind him trying to make the pass of Weldon.
Yeah, it looks like Schechter's going to push him by Weldon, and maybe looks like Dixon's going to just bring Scheckter along with him.
There's a shot at Chip Ganassi, a former driver who had a brutal crash here back in '84. Was not seriously injured, but it was spectacular as he came off the backstretch and slid across the infield and made contact with the inside Armco, and the car literally came apart. But right now he's not thinking about that. He's watching his guys running the 4th and 5th position here on lap 45.
Yeah, now Hornish is trying to help Scheckter go around Weldon. Didn't quite get it done, though, because they had to fall back in line.
That was a great story when Scheckter won here in 2002, because if you recall, Larry, he was feuding with his team owner, Eddie Cheever. And when they came here, Eddie basically hired Buddy Rice to take his car, gave him kind of a secondary car, a secondary crew, and he put her on the pole and won with it.
Yeah, he had the second best that day and still went out there and beat everybody. Now, that was just a day he was so determined to prove to Eddie Cheever they'd been wrong. Looks like
Milka slowed down the racetrack. She's will this bring out the yellow? And this does bring out the second yellow of the afternoon.
Yeah, she's very slow on the bottom of that racetrack. Don't believe she's going to make it back to pit lane. She's down there between turns 3 and 4, but very, very slow on the racetrack.
The pits open under yellow. Waiting to see who comes in, who peels off. Look at this, Larry.
Everybody came in.
Everybody.
They don't want to take a chance on having to pit under the green.
Frank Keedy, Tony Kanaan, and Castro-Neves.
Remember, they won't have to take on as much fuel.
And Kanaan got out.
Uh-oh, Frank Keedy's got a slow pit stop. He's got a problem. Frank Keedy has got a problem. They looked under the back wing.
Very slow. Thankfully, it was under yellow.
Not sure what happened.
He's going to lose a number of positions, Larry.
Yeah, I started to say that this should be a very quick pit stop because they don't have to take on about a half a fuel load. So as soon as the tires are on, they would go. But look at this. Dixon picks up 3. Again, his pit crew putting him right up there. And of course, Frank Keedy has dropped clear out of the top 10. And Scheckter once again lost several spots, lost 4 spots.
Tiger Woods defends his title against the best field of the year, including the Open champion Padraig Harrington. The US PGA Championship with the Royal Bank of Scotland, Thursday night from 7, live only on Sky Sports 1 and HD1.
Jason Bourne is at large in New York City.
I spent 3 years running. 3 years. This is where it ends.
The Bourne Ultimatum.
Thinking about a change of career? The Instructor College needs people just like you to train as driving instructors.
I did. Now I'm earning £30,000.
You don't even have to give up work to do the training, which is great.
And at the end of it, you get a guaranteed placement in a driving school.
Working the hours you choose.
All you need is a driving license to start. So call the Instructor College free on 0500 17 0017 and get your £30,000 career on the road.
From scooters to sports bikes, you could save on your insurance with Hastings Direct's new rates. Call our bike team on 0800 11 1066 or go online at hastingsdirect.com.
Everybody wants perfect vision. Who wouldn't? No glasses, no contact lenses. I saw a difference immediately, and after a few hours, my sight was brilliant.
Ultralaser now offers the most advanced wavefront and iris recognition technology in all their clinics.
It's amazing that such a simple procedure can give such incredible results. How does it feel? Unbelievable.
For a free DVD and information pack, free phone 08000 08000 or visit ultralaser.com.
Did the thought of legal costs stop you claiming after an accident? If you or a member of your family has suffered an accident in the last 3 years, you could be entitled to thousands of pounds in compensation. Accident Claims Connect are your route to a specialist personal injury solicitor that can help you win compensation on a no-win, no-fee, no-risk basis. For free advice, call 08000 831 221 today. You've nothing to lose and perhaps a lot to gain.
If you run the lights at a level crossing, it's not just your life on the line. Level crossings don't run the risk.
This is where it began. The Bourne Identity and the Bourne Supremacy on DVD now.
This one's for all those people out there who feel like they have a big mortgage. NatWest One simply combines your mortgage with your current account. Depending on how much you leave in your account each month and the size of your mortgage, you could seriously shrink it, making you incredible savings and knocking years off. To find out how many years you could shrink your mortgage by, call us now on 0800 408 2532. That's 0800 408 2532. Or go to natwest.com/shrinker.
Steven Spielberg's Munich, every night until Friday on Sky Movies Premiere.
The world's best speedway riders are lining up for another fantastic night. As the battle to be crowned world champion continues, the Sweden Grand Prix, Saturday 6 p.m, Sky Sports Extra.
They changed the 4 tires, top off the fuel.
Remember, the fuel was already in. Oh, he killed the engine. Absolutely.
Yeah, he stalled it. He killed the engine.
And see, it turned in from a 6-second pit stop to a 13-second pit stop. And boy, you just can't do that. That's an eternity on this kind of a thing. Yeah, they see on a quick pit stop like that, you're out of sync. You're out of sync because you get going much quicker. As soon as they drop that thing, you got to go.
We are back to green. He goes to work, picking off as many cars as he can on this first lap back under green.
Well, yeah, he got several right there, but he's got a long way to go. A lot of cars in front of him, a lot of fast cars. And look there, 4 wide right in front of him.
He tucks to the inside to pick up another position.
Wow, Franchitti obviously very mad at himself right now for making that mistake.
There were the points as of right now, but you know this race is not going to finish where they're running right now. Frankitti's going to go back to the front.
A long way to go. And there you see the two. Kanaan gets past. Weldon gets around Kanaan. So both of the Chip Ganassi cars, Dixon and Weldon, now leading this thing.
And Kanaan and the 2 Penske cars running 4th and 5th.
Dario Franchitti moving up very quickly, but he's going to run into some pretty fast race cars pretty quickly. It's going to slow him down some.
Well, Danica has gotten around Mira, so she's moved up a position. Scheckter moves to the inside, going to try to make it 3 wide through the corner. Here comes Danica.
Well, Schechter's really moved up quite a few positions.
Whoa!
Schechter's up into 6th.
Well, but Danica looked like she got pushed down there because Scheckter came down. Danica maybe went down below that white line to protect her position. Not get hit by Scheckter. Look how high Mira is on that racetrack. And here comes Dario. Look at this.
Man, he's weaving in and out like he's a man possessed as he went inside one, outside another there all at the same time.
Up to 9th already.
So he's cut through there much quicker than I thought he might. But man, oh man, he's really got a quick race car, quick hot rod, as they say.
Well, I think right now, Larry, the next 3 or 4 laps will indicate just how fast this race car is. Because it's one thing to get through the first half of the field.
Right.
It's something else to get through these guys.
Well, we talked already about the top 9 being very quick. Oh, Kanaan looked like he had to get out of the throttle right there. And Hornish goes down below the white line down that front straightaway as Scheckter made a great move and again proves he loves this racetrack. He's moved into third.
Well, look at Franchitti on the low side of his two teammates. He goes by Danica Patrick and Marco Andretti on the inside. They stacked him up 3 wide.
I'm just kind of surprised that everybody's moved to the outside and let him go by.
Ed Carpenter in number 20 has been black flagged for jumping the restart.
Boy, look at Mira. He still continues to run on that very, very high part of the racetrack coming off the corner. It just looks like the front end takes off on him every time, but I think he's just driving it that way because he runs out there lap after lap.
Well, Schecter's up to third. Look how high he is on the racetrack.
Well, you certainly got to say that these guys have used this thing up. They've used it from the very bottom to the very top all day long. And look at Scheckter. I think he's got that little mad thing going again because he lost 4 spots on his last pit stop. And all of a sudden, here he comes, and here comes Franchitti down the inside.
on the inside, 3 wide. Across the start-finish line, and Franchitti is going to come to second position.
Wow. Now, does that tell you how fast?
Okay, Larry, the restart was on lap 51. In 6 laps, he's gone from 18th to second.
Unbelievable. I thought once he got up there in about 8th, 7th position, it was going to take him a while to get through the traffic. But he passed both Penske cars going down the same straightaway.
Well, what did you say that was the motivation for Scheckter? That could be the motivation for Franchitti.
Yeah, that mad thing might be going on for both of them right now.
So Franchitti lost a ton of positions. We have a yellow. One of the Penske cars in the wall. Now, Hornish or Castro has been involved in 3 or 4 crashes this year. 2 cars involved. It looks like let's wait and call the other before we're sure. It's a dark car. It is Elio. It's Castro Davidson 1 in the 3 car, but it looks like Vito Mira in the number 4 car.
Yeah, we'll. Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Vito Mira.
So second. Look at that. Here's first and second from last season, and they're going to have a little conversation down here. Castroneves is not happy. Vito Mira is not happy. What are you doing to me? Why'd you do that? I didn't do that. Why?
Well, he was really pretty calm. We didn't see what happened there, but I'm sure he wanted to do a lot more. And he's obviously.
He said, "Leave me alone."
Yeah, he's had a tough season. And let's see if
let's see what happens.
See what happens as they're going down. Wow.
Yeah. Who do you point a finger at?
I don't know. That's just one of those.
Back to those racing crashes.
We talked about how close drivers run on these ovals, and sometimes those cars, that little side draft thing makes the car move a foot or 2, and that looked like that might have been what happened. They got so close, and one car wiggled, and I'm not sure who you can. Let's see if
here's a good angle coming at you.
Mirror move. I don't know.
That's a racing crash to me. That's a racing crash.
And I don't know. They were moving so slightly, each one of them. It just looked like they both moved the wrong way at the same time.
Exactly. Toward each other at the same time.
Each car had moved a foot one way or the other going down that straightaway.
Well, Elio's getting his exercise walking back to the care center. Yeah. Let's see if he actually goes to the care center.
Let's see if we can take another look at it.
It's not a very good angle here, as good as the other angle straight on. Well, here it comes at you. Here it comes.
You see, they're both going pretty much straight. They move a little close, then they move away from each other, and then they just move close enough.
Together.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think if those 2 guys look at that video, well, of course, it's always the other guy's fault, but they both move toward the other car. The pits are now open. This will be the 3rd stop of the afternoon.
Well, we'll see if Scott Dixon's crew can work their magic. As Franchitti is already in and
Look
out.
Look at Franchitti. He's going to get this lead back in the pits.
Wow. We almost had a crash there. There's 3 cars coming out side by side. So Franchitti had a great stop. Scheckter had a great stop that time. So
Elio did walk back to the infield to the care center, which is mandatory.
But Thomas Scheckter, who's had 2 really lousy pit stops, had a great pit stop that time and came out in second spot. Dixon came out in third. Marco had a great pit stop. He came out in fourth. So I'm guessing that some of those cars did not take on tires after that during that pit stop, and that's the reason they got out so quick.
Well, Franchitti, of course, went in second position, comes out in first. There's Schechter. And this is really the first time, Larry, that we have seen Schechter either gain positions in the pits or maintain a position.
Looks like they're making some adjustments. So some of the teams taking this long yellow to make some adjustments on the cars. And it looks like they, too, are working on the right rear of the car for whatever reason. Jack Arute, I think.
Let's hear from Vitor Meira and Jack Arute.
Yeah, and we're going to check with Vitor first as we try to find the replay of the accident, Vitor, because I know you want to see that. If you want to take a look at it in the monitor here, maybe you can describe to us what you think happened.
I saw it already on the medical car, and I'm gonna have my point of view. He's gonna have his point of view. My point of view, I didn't move. He moved up. Again, we gotta ask him his point of view. He's gonna say the other, whatever he thinks. My point of view is he moved. I did.
What was the conversation like? I know probably it was in Portuguese down there.
I mean, we're both men enough, and we're both experienced enough to first analyze who did what, and then discussed about it. And Elo's always been pretty good, and I always been pretty good with him. So it's a matter of go through it and go to the next race.
With a season like 2006 was for the Panther team, how bad has 2007 been?
It hasn't been what we expected, for sure. But I think the Delphi crew is again, it's doing a great job, not only trying to repair for the mistakes we had this year, but also keeping the emotions and everything up. So again, it's a shame. The car was good, was competitive, and we were picking it up. So again,
you start on lap 61. Down the backstretch, I said 61, obviously lap 70 has just been completed. 30 laps to the halfway point.
And already some of these guys trying to make moves very early on this stint to try to get around somebody like Darren Manning, who now is right down on the inside. And Kanon's already gained several spots. He had the best restart. Talked about what a great guy he was on restarts, and he got around at least 3 cars. I think he restarted in 7th spot.
Well, he has that anticipation.
Yep.
Which simply means he lays back, he picks up the throttle before the leaders do. When they go green, he's up to almost full song. But right now the top 3 are running nose to tail, and they've started to pull away and put a gap back there on that 4th place car of Kanon. Manning runs in 5th, Sharp is 6th, 7th is Weldon. Look at this battle. On the inside of Sharp is Danica.
So it looks like she's going to try to stick her nose under Manning, try to get that spot back. Doesn't look like Manning's bid to get track position has worked very well. And look at this, Hornish and Marco right behind that group of cars heading down the back straightaway.
Here comes Hornish on the inside, trying to get down under Scott Sharp into the 18-degree banking of the corner, tucking in behind Manning. Eddie Carpenter up in front of that gaggle of cars in 6th position.
Marco's trying to follow Hornish through this group of cars. Hornish going to try to sneak under Manning. Manning's been running in the middle of the racetrack instead of on the bottom, which leaves that whole bottom wide open for whoever's down there.
Well, Patrick now on the high side, trying to get by on the high side of Carpenter. That's the battle for 6th position. Back up in front, nose to tail into turn 3.
And Schechter trying to make some sort of a move on Franchitti, but boy,
open the door on the inside for Dixon.
Franchitti is just so strong here today. Everybody having a problem once they get to him to do anything with him. Remember, he's out front. He's pushing all that air out of the way for those guys, so they're a little bit faster down the straightaways. And when they pull out to try to go around him in the corners, they just can't do anything with him.
Look at this. Kanon and Weldon have closed back in. And there's that battle for position between Danica on the high side and the dark number 7, the green and white number 20 of Ed Carpenter.
Yeah, right behind them, Marco and Sam Hornish, both of those drivers. And you can see these drivers run side by side like they are right now, time after time down that front straightaway without touching. And it's amazing that more of them don't touch and end up like Castroneves and Mira did.
Franchitti continues to lead with Scheckter running in second. There's that big gap. And finally, Patrick has gotten around Carpenter. So Patrick goes up to the 6th position. Carpenter now being challenged for that 7th position by Marco Andretti.
You can see that Manning has fallen pretty far off the pace now. He started back up there in 3rd. He's way back now at an 11th spot or so.
Hornish looks to the inside as Marco tries to go to the outside of Carpenter.
And then Carpenter told us his car is set up exactly like Thomas Schecter's. He said that's the reason they can't figure out why Thomas was faster than everybody else on the team pretty much all weekend long. Everybody's flat to the floor just going around the racetrack, and yet Scheckter seemed to be a little bit faster. But
look at Kanaan and Weldon. They've closed down that gap.
Yeah, they certainly have. So they're right on Dixon, who's back there in 3rd position right now. Kanaan moves to the outside and trying to take that position away.
Kanaan, a teammate to Franchitti. He rides the high side of Dixon. So it's Franchitti, Scheckter in the battle for 3rd. And here comes Weldon.
Yeah, he's actually helping Kanaan right now as he's on the outside trying to push him by his teammate Scott Dixon.
So he goes a little higher to get some fresh air on those wings. Well, I'll tell you what, the fans that stayed today and came back after that 4.5-hour rain delay certainly are getting their money's worth.
There's no question about it. This is been a terrific race from lap 1, other than the fact that Frankitti's led most of the laps. There's been all kinds of dicing all the way through the pack back to the back, but especially from 2nd through 6th.
But the lead changes have come in the pit area.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had some great battles on the racetrack, but as far as the lead change, it's come in the pits.
We've seen it over the past 15 years. As the seasons flow, heroes come and heroes go. But our passion is forever. Sky Sports, our biggest season yet.
Este es el momento, listos para el encuentro. 6 contra mí, solo besarán el pavimento. Reteja sin saliva, te alertas, te alarmas, pierdes las energías. Intentas vencerme, es tu peor alternativa.
When you've been filthy, Snake Peel Exfoliating Scrub from Lynx. See how filthy boys get clean this summer at lynxmanwash.com.
On DVD now. It's on. Morgan Freeman and John Cusack have a price to pay in, the contract.
You try to bring me in, you're both gonna die.
Then Fire Up, Ray Liotta.
You set me up.
And LL Cool J in Slow Burn. 2 red-hot thrillers on DVD, out now.
Everybody wants perfect vision. Who wouldn't? No glasses, no contact lenses. I saw a difference immediately, and after a few hours, my sight was brilliant.
Ultralaser now offers the most advanced wavefront and iris recognition technology in all their clinics.
It's amazing that such a simple procedure can give such incredible results. How does it feel? Unbelievable.
For a free DVD and information pack, free phone 08000 08000 or visit ultralaser.com.
Hello, the Smoky Blue Angus, please.
I'll have to ask you a few questions first. Keeps out the riffraff, you know. Do you have any friends called Rupert or Jonty?
No.
When you laugh, do you make involuntary noises like...
Definitely not.
Well, don't be offended, Mum. It's just a question, Mum.
There's no need for the mark.
Well, everything seems to be in order.
The Smoky Blue Angus, flame-grilled Aberdeen Angus beef, bacon and blue cheese flavoured mayo. A posh burger for people who aren't posh.
This one's for all those people out there who feel like they have a big mortgage. NatWest One simply combines your mortgage with your current account. Depending on how much you leave in your account each month and the size of your mortgage, you could seriously shrink it. making you incredible savings and knocking years off. To find out how many years you could shrink your mortgage by, call us now on 0800 408 2532. That's 0800 408 2532. Or go to natwest.com/shrinker.
Welcome to the wonderful world of not knowing what the hell's going on.
Time to take another look.
What kind of people do you think we are?
Dig deeper.
Don't mistake coincidence for fate.
Question what you think you know.
This, Jack, is your life.
So, what do we do?
Wow.
I ain't running.
There ain't no place to go.
Series 3 of Lost
I need to get the hell off this highway.
returns to Sky 1 on Saturday at 8 and in HD.
Well, now he gets around Kanaan, as Kanaan lost a little momentum as he went to the outside of Scheckter to try to make the pass.
See, Kanaan would like to be up there to serve as a jam car for his teammate, if at all possible. So Scheckter rides in that second position. There's the battle for third.
And now Kanaan goes to the outside to try to get around Dixon. Looks like he had enough speed as he got out there.
A little bit well and going even higher.
Boy, these cars, certainly all of these guys doing everything they can do to gain the advantage. And they just keep doing it lap after lap.
Well, we still have a ways to go before we get to halfway. Once again, a 200-lap event. And when we started this race, Larry, the radar was clear. I mean, there's a low cloud deck, but no moisture apparently in the area. However, there is a forecast for more isolated thunderstorms late this afternoon and this evening. So, you know, these crews could be watching the radar, and that could develop a different strategy.
Well, I promise you, they're watching the radar.
Car against the wall. That's Sarah.
Sarah Fisher. Off of turn number 2. Like she spun around and slapped the wall with the left side.
Radio communication.
She's moving around in the car. That's always a good sign.
The crew wanted to know that she's okay, but she didn't respond that we could hear.
You can see the half shaft laying back there in the middle of the racetrack. It fell out as when she hit the wall. The pits
Look at this, Larry. The pits are open, and it looks like we're going to have the entire field back on pit road.
Yeah, they will. And again, it's going to be a short pit stop. They've only run 22 laps, so they won't have to take on a full fuel load. They'll be able to take on about 2/3. So the tire changers are going to be very important this time.
Let's see if that Vision team can get Scheckter.
No changes.
Get Scheckter back out in that second position.
Water up nose on the center line on the board.
Kim Green talking to Dario Franchitti.
Are you ready when you get to the deck?
Didn't make that mistake again.
All clear.
Look at that. Scheckter did lose how many positions?
Lost a couple, but he still had a pretty good pit stop. That still was not that bad. I'm sure he's not going to be happy because he did lose some spots, but not nearly as bad as it was earlier.
All right, we'll see them cycle through now and see who's actually going to lead this thing. Because remember, Franchitti pits on the fourth turn side.
Weldon gained 4 spots. He's going to take the lead over Franchitti. Andretti moved up 3 spots. And again, Scheckter was the guy who lost 4 spots in the pits. 4 spots doesn't sound like a lot, but I can guarantee you he'll tell you that it's hard to pass 4 people on that racetrack. And they can't continue to do that every time out. Let's take a look at Sarah's crash, see if we can see what happened. She lost the car way back in the middle of the corner. That wasn't coming off the corner. That was clear back in the middle of the corner. That looked like almost like John Herb's crash the other day, where the car just stepped out on her right in the middle of the corner. There you see that half shaft going down the racetrack.
But off the 18-degree banking, here comes the green flag. Franchitti wastes no time getting the high side, and now he's getting a little shoved by his teammate. And I tell you, that side draft almost got those two guys together.
Yeah, well, we talk about how that can move a car. Both those cars went toward each other and came very close to touching wheels right down the middle of the back straightaway. And look at Thomas Scheckter. You talk about great restarts. He's already back into fourth, trying to figure out which one of these three horses in front of him he should follow through.
Weldon leads a couple of laps, but then Franchitti, now Weldon's back out front.
Yeah, Weldon's got the preferred line. It looked like Franchitti was just going to pull out and blow on by him. He still looks like he might, but it's not nearly as easy as it has been in the past.
And of course, it only counts when you cross that start-finish line. And Franchitti's going to lead this lap again.
Yeah, he certainly is.
That may be a case of his teammate doing what he can to help him by pushing him on by. But here comes Weldon's teammate and Scott Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Scheckter in the middle. Ooh, Scheckter had a big wiggle right there in the middle of the racetrack. And pulled right down in front of Dixon. He's going to go to the inside of Kanaan.
Kanaan's going to stay up there where he can best help his teammate.
And look at Danica Patrick. She's on the outside. She's going to make a bid on the outside of both those guys. Maybe not. She got around Marco. Now she's on the outside of Dixon.
Now both Kanaan and Franchitti have cleared the Weldon car. So he's back in third. Here comes Scheckter in fourth. Scheckter goes high to go around Weldon for third spot.
Yeah, Weldon looked like boy, look at those cars move around down that front straightaway, or down that back straightaway, excuse me. And Dixon now's on the outside, the third guy on the outside.
So Franchitti has some breathing room now because he has his teammate behind him. There's that battle for fourth position. So Kanaan rides in second, Weldon third, Scheckter and Dixon battling. Here comes Danica back in sixth. You know, I know, Larry, there's a lot of pressure on her to win a race, but she has been so competitive this season. She's been right in the mix.
She's been right up front. She's done everything she needs to do. As long as she keeps running like she's doing, I guess the thing is you have to put yourself in a position to win a race if things go your way. That's exactly what Dixon has done. That's exactly what Franchitti's done. And she's done a pretty good job of that. If you run in the top three every race and you're up there competing, then you're going to have a chance. And speaking of competing, look at Sam Hornish, who came from 15th already back up here running with this new group.
Marco, they made some adjustments on his car, and Marco now is up to sixth.
Yeah, but he restarted up there in fourth position, whereas Hornish restarted back in 15th this time. It was the last time that he and Hornish came through the whole group together, and now then Hornish goes to the outside of Patrick.
We're working on lap 97. 3 laps from halfway. Now Patrick on the inside of Hornish. Well, they got very close.
That was very close. The top 8 cars all still running extremely well and extremely close on the racetrack.
Side by side down the backstretch. This is the battle for 7th.
Hornish just continues to pick them off one at a time. There's Roger Penske on the right-hand side, watching with great interest as Hornish picked off car after car to get up there. Now he's going to be tougher as he goes through because these top 6 or 7 cars are very quick.
Roger owned this track for a while, then merged it with International Speedway Corporation. So basically, ICS, the owner of this racing venue. Let's just hope, Larry, they get it worked out that we can come back here in 2 years because we've missed this kind of competition.
Yeah, this is pretty good competition. We heard some of the drivers say they weren't sure they could run in groups and like they had in the past, but that certainly hasn't been the case. They've run in groups, they've run side by side, and they've done a lot of passing since the green flag dropped at the beginning of this race.
Now we have 2 Andretti green cars out in front. Then in third and fourth, you have the 2 Ganassi cars and then the Scheckter car of Vision Racing back in the 5th position. Then a couple of more Andretti green cars and Marco and Danica. So Andretti green have 4 of the top 7 positions.
Our big biggest season yet. This weekend, the first game of a brand new Premier League season is live only on Sky Sports. Roy Keane's Sunderland take on top four hopeful Spurs. Saturday at noon, a Ford football special, Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Then on Sunday, Chelsea take on Birmingham and the champions. Host Reading. Sunday from 1, a Ford football double, Sky Sports 1 and HD1.
Everyone knows a bloke like Mickey. To Mickey, hair isn't just hair. It's a weapon to be used to devastating effect. Mickey hates flakes. Of course, he's got a look for every occasion. There's the fluffy puppy, windswept and interesting. The intellectual, plain gorgeous. And his personal favourite, morning hair. Like Mickey, Blokes Who Know voted Head & Shoulders #1 in FHM's Readers' Poll.
Today, we're looking for even cheaper car insurance. We all know that it's a real jungle out there.
Is that?
Yes, that could be the sound of even cheaper car insurance.
It's elephant.co.uk. We can go online, get a quote in minutes, and see how much we could save. Well, let's go. Elephant.co.uk.
For even cheaper car insurance, it's elephant.co.uk.
Did the thought of legal costs stop you claiming after an accident? If you or a member of your family has suffered an accident in the last 3 years, you could be entitled to thousands of pounds in compensation. Accident Claims Connect are your route to a specialist personal injury solicitor that can help you win compensation on a no-win, no-fee, no-risk basis. For free advice, call 08000 831 221 today. You've nothing to lose and perhaps a lot to gain.
Want to take control of your finances? First Plus has the answer. Have you ever noticed how some of life's expenses tend to take priority, while others get put on hold? Meeting routine costs can leave important things stuck at the bottom of the list, and an unexpected bill can really make a mess of your finances. A First Plus homeowner loan can help you get your finances back on track by rearranging any existing credit into one low monthly repayment. You could borrow anything from £5,000 to £100,000, and if you call today, you can take advantage of this special offer. You can spread your repayments over 5 to 25 years to find a monthly payment that suits you. It's quick and easy to arrange, so call First Plus today on 0800 479 3000 or visit firstplus.co.uk and stay on top of your finances.
Busca 3 barcos.
3 barcos.
All 6 Star Wars films, the first 9 Star Trek films, 7 days, all in one place. Star Wars vs. Star Trek Week. Continues till Sunday on Sky Movies, Sci-Fi and Horror.
It doesn't take much to gain or lose a lot on this particular racetrack. And look at Schechter.
Look at Weldon.
It looked like he was going to try to pull down in front of Kanan, but he wasn't around him yet. Almost forced Kanan under that white flag, or white line.
They were 3 wide.
And look at that. Kanan had to lift, and when he did, Patrick got around him as well. He had to lift because they kind of forced him down the back shoulder.
Look at Patrick go to the high side to make it 3 wide, and here comes Dixon.
Dixon was stirring up the dust. He was so high getting into that corner.
You can't go 3 and 4 wide in the corners. Well, not supposed to anyway.
And here comes Sam Hornish right in the middle of them.
This battle for 3rd.
Wow. Dixon clear out there in no man's land. That's where Mira was running a while ago. Finally thought better of it and fell back in behind.
What you got to give the lady her due this afternoon, boy. She's been real competitive.
Everybody up there in this front group, except for Franchitti, he hasn't had to battle much of anybody except that one time.
He come from the back of the pack.
Yeah.
Once.
But he did that pretty easily.
He did that in a hurry.
Yeah, which he did very, very quickly. Everybody else has really been working. They've been earning their money today, running side by side, lap after lap, trying to get that slightest. Oh, we got a spin. It's Manning, I believe.
Manning in the wall on lap 114, our 5th yellow.
And it just looked like something broke on that thing as it just swapped ends right in the middle of the corner. Luckily, nobody else.
We saw that yesterday with.
Well, we've seen it happen with Sarah.
A couple times. Sarah, Herb, we saw it happen with John Herb yesterday.
So I'm not sure what happens, but in that case, it just looks like the back end broke loose and came on around on him. Let's see if we can see anything as he's back there about mid-pack.
That was a huge impact. That safer barrier caused some or prevented some injury there.
Yeah, just again, all by himself up in a groove that he appeared to be running all day, and the back end just let loose. They backed into the wall. You're right. Pretty hard impact.
The tether system didn't look like it worked too well in that left rear there.
Well, sometimes.
Well, maybe it did. Yeah, it was still connected.
Yeah, look, it landed right in front of
his cockpit.
Right in the cockpit. That's the bad part of that. The thing came.
He actually pushes the tire away.
I mean, that thing's over 200 degrees. It's hot.
The back end just steps out on him.
Yeah, the back end just came around. Didn't appear to be any reason. Couldn't see. The back end didn't appear to drop like the suspension broke. Just appeared that the back end stepped out and went around and hit the fence.
All right, we're going to see a lead change in the pits again.
Well, that's up to the pit crews. We'll see. Under yellow, it's.
All right, same again. Right off the center line of board. He's got some laps on these tires, but they're good.
Scheckter comes in second. Let's see how Vision Racing gets him out. There's Weldon. Comes in third. Scheckter will be given credit for leading a lap because he went past the start-finish line.
Yeah, see, he's a second and a half slower. Schecter's a second and a half slower in the pits. That's, you can't have that and win races. He's at 8.5 seconds. Everybody else is 7.1, 7.2. That's a huge disadvantage for him.
Let's see how many he loses. One position.
Yeah, Dixon gained a couple, so that's good for him. His crew has really done a great job today.
So right now, Scheckter will restart in third position, but at the point will be Dario Franchitti. Weldon restarts in second, then Scheckter, Patrick, and Dixon. Off the corner, and here comes the green flag for the restart.
Danica finally gets it. That's the best restart I've seen her have in the history of IRL. She always seems to lag for some reason, not get good restarts. That was a terrific restart, and she got that great restart on Thomas Scheckter, who's one of the best in the business.
Well, now Scheckter gets back by on the high side as a complete lap 102, 122. Look at them stacked up 3 deep.
And they are Schecter's moved clear to the outside now as he's been running right alongside of Frank.
Look at Marco in this mess. Look at Marco, and here comes Kanan.
Scheckter just absolutely helped push Weldon on by Franchitti on the outside. Marco running very high on the racetrack, but still very quick. Now then Scheckter needs a little help from somebody to get up there and help him shove. Oh, and he's just going to do it all by himself. He's just going to blow on by.
Look at this. You got all 4 Andretti green cars in this mix. And here comes Hornish.
And look at this. Scheckter goes to the outside. Looks like he's going to challenge for the lead. And Franchitti's going to go out there and try to help him.
And look at Marco up to 4th. Where did he come from? He had that good restart, then he started dropping back. Now he's back up to 4th.
Yeah, Danica's a little loose coming off the corner. That might be the reason she she's falling back. She had to get out of the throttle, and she's going to lose another spot or two.
How long can you hold your breath, Larry Rice?
Well, look at Franchitti, though. He just went around Thomas Scheckter on the outside after Weldon went by him. And here comes Marco clear down on the inside. He's got to run on Scheckter.
They'll stack him up 3 deep down the backstretch. Danica loses several positions.
Yeah, she's
back to 9th.
After a great restart, we're talking about how good that was. Then things haven't gone so well since then. Either whatever they changed on that pit stop doesn't suit her very well, or she just got messed up in some traffic there. But she's lost a lot of positions here recently.
Franchitti with brute strength trying to go by on the high side. Weldon continues to lead this thing. There's Franchitti. Schechter's back in the 3rd spot. Then it's Tony Kanaan, and then Sam Hornish.
All this kind of shakes out a little bit. I think Danica's probably going to move back towards the front, but right now it seems like she's having some problems. Is right there. She moved up the racetrack.
Wow. And Marco goes down low on the racetrack. Under Scott Dixon.
Side by side, row by row, 4, 5, 6 cars. Look at this.
3 wide.
6, 7 cars. Wow.
What's the old phrase about throw a blanket over all of them?
Man, oh man.
Make it a baby blanket.
Kanaan now on the outside of his teammate Franchitti trying to take over 2nd spot. And Marco down on the bottom. No, it's Scheckter.
They protected Franchitti enough that he'll get those 3 bonus points, and now it's who's going to win this thing.
Well, you can see that big bump right past the start-finish line. As Franchitti looks like he's got a great run this time.
And here comes Danica back in the fray, making it 3 wide. Eddie Carpenter down the low side, Danica up in the middle, and she gets by her teammate Marco Andretti.
Scheckter down on the bottom. He's following Weldon, as he did the first time Weldon went around Franchitti, but Franchitti came right back, moved to the top side.
Once again, it's Weldon, Franchitti, Scheckter, Kanaan, Hornish, Carpenter, Patrick. Those positions are out. No, Carpenter got back around Patrick.
Well, these cars really dicing each other, really running close to each other, too.
This is where you have to have a lot of faith in all those people you're racing against, if they're not going to make a mistake.
Well, and so far, none in this group have, as everybody's run very clean. Franchitti now seems to get a bit of an advantage and leads that lap. Even though Schechter's on the bottom trying to shove Weldon on past him, he just doesn't seem to be able to do it, as Franchitti again looks to be very, very strong.
Look who's up there in 4th. This is his kind of track, Sam Hornish.
After all the adjustments they've made and twists and turns on the chassis, once again, look at Dixon. Dixon was in 9th place just about 2 laps ago. Now, all of a sudden, he's back up there in the top 5 and challenging for 4th. He was in 9th.
Got very close to her teammate Marco there as that aero draft got them very close together.
Yeah, that side draft is a very tricky thing sometimes, and it'll suck you together even when you're not when you don't think there's anything there. It kind of pulls you together, and when you're running within a foot of each other, it can be very dangerous. Now Danica got caught up there and lost 2 or 3 spots.
Well, up in front, Weldon continues to show the way. The battle is for 2nd between Scheckter on the low side and Franchitti on the high side. Then comes Hornish, and then comes Tony Kanaan. Then it's Scott Dixon, then it's Marco Andretti, and then Danica Patrick on the high side.
Boy, it's amazing to think that you can be running as good as Dixon is and still be running in 6th spot. But the first 9 cars just running so fast right now that, on any given time. And right there, Dixon kind of was forced down below that white line a little bit as it was 3 cars wide coming off the corner.
Of course, that no penalty if you're forced down there. You have to take evasive action. But if you go down there to pass somebody, you're getting black flag.
Right now, you're just doing whatever you can to hang on and get in every spot you can because it's so difficult out there. And look at Scheckter. He's moved to the outside of Weldon, and here goes Franchitti on the outside of both of them.
Let's make it 3 wide. Here comes Kanaan.
Is Kanaan going to choose to help? And it looks like Franchitti had a great run on both of those drivers. Now he's going to stay to the high side. That's going to be an advantage for Weldon.
Long way around the high side.
It's a long way around. You're right. Especially when you're 3 wide.
Darren Manning, our last yellow for the single car crash.
That impact was, Darren Manning, your knees did what?
My knees? Oh yeah, as I went backwards into the wall, they came back through and wiped out the steering wheel. So I've got a couple of big gashes, and they stapled me up with some metal staples. So at least AJ will be proud. I got some metal in my body now. But no, it was a big shame for the ABC crew and all the Foyt Racing. You know, we weren't so quick at the beginning of the run on new tyres, but once everybody else's cars started going off, mine just stayed real good. And unfortunately, the cars in front, they weren't able to hold their line so much, and they kept crossing my bow. And I was just really trying to move my way right to the front on that long green flag run. And I think Marco, no fault of his own, you know, he just crossed my bow and just took all the air off, and I pushed and got loose as I came back into the air, and that was it.
We're happy to see that you're okay. Look forward to seeing you in Kentucky.
Cheers, pal.
Well, that was a good analysis of what happened with a bit of humor there with the staples.
Yeah, that happened before we actually saw it, but he got picked up a push, and then when he got back in the air and the air caught his front wing, it just brought the car. Oh boy, look at that.
Those two almost got together, Weldon and Franchitti. And here comes Canal on the high side.
And look at this. Dixon goes by 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, he went on the outside.
Yeah, but look at Patrick.
She went on the inside, Dixon went on the outside, and they passed about 3 cars apiece.
Patrick's up to 4th, Dixon goes to 5th. Here's the battle for the lead. And Weldon's going to lead this one with Franchitti 2nd. So 3 of the top 4 are ready green cars.
Well, it's amazing to see how well Weldon has been able to hang on to that lead. It shows you how important the lead is on this particular racetrack. Even though Franchitti has had the fastest race car all day long, he gets the advantage going down the back straightaway. He can't pull down in front of Weldon. It's just a shorter distance through the corner. So Weldon, as he gets into the corner, once again pulls a little bit in front. Wow. This has been a heck of a race so far. Dixon now behind Patrick. Those two made a great move a lap or so ago as they went inside and outside, passed about 3 or 4 cars. Now here comes Scheckter back up to try to challenge both of them.
He makes it 3 wide.
Looks like he's going to get around both of them this time.
So what's the best groove here, Larry? We've seen them all used.
Well, and the people who are really running well can run in both grooves. That's the real thing. And
I wouldn't say both grooves. I'd say all the grooves.
All the grooves, yeah, all 3 grooves, right. And we've seen Scheckter high, we've seen Scheckter low. He likes the bottom of the racetrack, but we've seen him go high when he had to.
Well, Scheckter likes this racetrack. Twice he's qualified for the pole. He won from the pole in 2002. He likes this racetrack. And this is as racy as we've seen him all season.
Yeah, it certainly is. No question about that. This is the best run for Vision Racing all year long. And meanwhile, back there,
this was a couple laps ago.
That's what we were kind of holding our breath about, as Weldon and Franchitti almost got together, and that's almost exactly what happened.
That's why those guys got out of the throttle, and that's where Patrick went by low and Dixon went by high.
Yeah, everybody saw them almost touch. They lifted just slightly, and Dixon and Patrick are far enough back. They didn't lift. They didn't see what was going on. They blew by everybody.
This Scheckter goes up to 2nd position. There's Kanaan trying to sneak in. And Patrick trying to get in that fray. Patrick and Kanaan now side by side. And here comes their 3rd teammate in Marco.
Dixon working very hard trying to get up there where he can challenge.
We'll have at least 1 more pit stop, probably 2, Larry.
Yeah. We'll for sure have 2.
I'd like to see pit stops under green, though. We've got a rash of yellows, 5 to tie the record for the most yellow periods here. I'd like to see a green flag pit stop.
Well, for some of these drivers, that would be good. For some of them, it would not be good. For Thomas Scheckter.
For us race fans, it'd be great.
For Thomas Scheckter, probably wouldn't be so good unless he can get a really good pit stop in here. But meanwhile...
Oh, look at this.
Danica's moved into 4th.
And Kanaan has dropped 2 spots behind his 2 teammates. Now here goes Scheckter to the high side.
Wow.
And higher still is Franchitti.
And this is what's happened the last couple of times. And when this happens, every time this has happened, Schechter's been kind of the loser. Franchitti gets a good run on the outside and pulls up and stays beside these guys. Look how close they are. Yeah, Schechter had to get out of the throttle ever so slightly right there because the car wiggled on him a little bit, so he's probably going to lose a spot.
And he did lose a spot to Danica.
Yep. You could see him. He saw the car wiggle. You just knew he lifted at that point because that thing wiggled so much. And he lifted. Now he's right back in the throttle. He didn't lift all the way out.
Lap 143 they are working on.
Well, they'll in about another, I don't know, 4 or 8 laps, they're going to have to make a stop. And here goes Kanaan back to the inside of Schechter as Danica, who's all of a sudden likes that higher groove. She ran the bottom of the racetrack most of the time early. Now then she's moved up to that higher groove. It looks like she's going to try to help Franchitti move into the lead.
Danica tried to lead for the 3rd time this season. She led 2 laps at Texas where she finished 3rd. She led 1 lap at Iowa. And this is, well, she finished 3rd at Texas. But this is probably as racy as we've seen her since Texas.
Oh, and here comes
a car upside down, flying upside down, and that's Franchitti. 3, 4, 5 cars involved.
Franchitti, Weldon, Dixon, and Schechter, and it looked like that touching were.
Not sure who that was. Franchitti's car is upside down, but look, there is Dixon as well.
Yeah, he got hit in the head.
So Franchitti, we also see that's Hornish.
So a terrible accident. Looked like almost the same thing that happened between Castroneves and Mira as they just kind of got sucked together going down that back straightaway.
You see Hornish climbing out of his car. You see Dixon climbing out of his car. And you see one of the emergency crew members motioning for some others to get over there. They need to roll the car back over. They want to stabilize him first if there is an injury, which makes it very difficult when the car is upside down. And there you see the number 2 car of Schechter.
So he made it back to the pit area, but he was involved in that. Of course, all the leaders, the top 7, were all right there, nose to tail, side by side. And when that accident happened, most of them didn't have any way to miss it.
Of course, Kim Green, the rest of the Canadian Club officials, and waiting for a report. Now, race control, Larry, is saying, I don't want to be premature, that Dario's okay, which is phenomenal if there are no injuries to Dario.
Wow.
Hornish is over there. Look at Hornish trying to help out.
Yeah, he's helping them lower the car down.
And look at this. Look at this. Look at the movement in the cockpit. Is that phenomenal, Larry? I mean, let's take a deep breath, because anytime you see something like that, it's just amazing how strong these cars are.
And you can see his crew guys standing there applauding as they saw him.
Dixon is coming over. Weldon's coming over to make sure he's okay. Look at the dirt on top of his helmet. Look at the helmet all scuffed up. There's Dixon over there to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, he just went
There's
up,
Hornish.
Went up and had a look, turned around and walked off. So just to make sure everything was okay.
Incredible, Larry. Incredible.
Wow, he was very high on the racetrack. There's Weldon, also involved in that. He and Dick Franchitti got together, and I'm sure.
Well, they're the Ganassi teammates walking together. They'll probably all have to go to the infield care center just for that mandatory checkup.
Yeah.
Hornish is involved. Franchitti is involved. Schechter had damage on his car.
Well, there, Ed Carpenter.
Carpenter was involved. Foyt was involved.
Wow. Yeah, Schechter was definitely involved in it as well as those 5 we have up there, or 6 that we have up there, because he was in the pit area with damage on his car. So
that car, in reality, Larry, was not airborne that long, but for that driver, it was an eternity. It was a lifetime.
Yeah. And it, when you're up in the air like that, traveling at those speeds,
we want to go to Jack Arute with Thomas Schechter.
His pit stall, and Thomas, take us through what happened out there.
I tell you what, that was some of the scariest stuff I've ever seen. And just 2 cars touched. It was, Dario was pushing really hard. I think I think, Dario was wanting to come down and Dan wanted to come up a bit. And all I saw Dario backwards, upside down in the air. I was fully slammed on the brakes. I didn't know whether he was going to come straight into my foot. Honestly, just one of the scariest things I've ever seen. And pity because we were running so good, and with no other teammates up there, it was good. So look forward to the next race.
Well, on pit road, Danica Patrick's getting service, Brienne.
And Danica is out. Now, she was leading coming in.
There goes Tony Kanaan. So Marco looks like he's going to beat everybody out of the pits. So
well, this is going to change the complexion because that took out
about
four or five potential winners right there in Schechter, Weldon, Franchitti, Dixon, Hornish. As you see the adjustment on the Sharp car, and now Marco is going to lead this thing.
Marco's going to be in the lead. Danica lost 4 positions on that pit stop. So.
Marco's our 6th different leader of the afternoon.
Let's take a look again. And you can see they're going down the back straightaway. And well, you can't tell exactly whether he moved down or whether it was pretty much what we saw before. Right here's where he was really lucky. That car turned over just in time, because if Dixon had run into him when he was completely upside down, this could have been a much, much worse accident.
The car hit and started to get airborne again as Dixon got into him.
Right, just it turned just.
Now watch the Dixon car come into your frame here. Watch this next red car come into your frame. The car lands upside down, starts to move back up when it gets clipped.
Yeah. If he had stayed upside down on the racetrack, that could have been a much more serious incident for him.
Foyt got into him.
Yeah, then Foyt got in. But everybody behind there was just a victim of circumstances at that point. You can see Schechter hard on
his
the brakes. But Dixon came around him. They got together. And it was just a free-for-all at that point. There was nothing anybody could do once the contact was made down the back straightaway.
Larry, it is so rare anymore in modern IndyCar racing to have a car upside down. And this is the 3rd time we've seen a driver upside down this season.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable, really, that we've had this much of a problem. But
Eddie Carpenter also got involved.
Let's see if we can see. That's again. They just were running so close. It appeared that Dario came down ever so slightly, but Weldon might have moved up slightly too. From that angle, it was just very difficult to tell exactly what happened. Wow.
Well, you realize now on this restart, Larry, we're only going to have 7 guys in this race.
Guys and gals.
And gals, I'm
right.
sorry, yeah, gals.
And let's take a look here from a little different angle. See, from that angle.
Patrick, what a view she had.
Yeah, she was very
she looked
lucky.
off to her left and saw the car go up.
Yeah, she was on the outside. Very fortunate to be out there far enough she didn't get in that. Everybody was down lower on the racetrack.
There's a new lineup for Saturdays on Sky Sports. First up, the Soccer AM gang are back at 9. Then, kicking off the Premier League season at noon, it's Sunderland v Tottenham. Jeff Stelling and the team return for Soccer Saturday.
Only kidding.
Plus, new at 5:15, Saturday Night Football. Wolves v Watford. And the best of the day's Premier League action on Football First. The all-new Sky Sports Saturday.
The line between good and evil has been drawn. Which side you're on is a matter of choice. Protect. Destroy. Which side will you choose? Transformers the game.
Este es el momento, listos para el encuentro. 6 contra mí, solo besarán el pavimento. Retejas sin saliva, de alertas, de alarmas, pierdes las energías. Tratar de vencerme es tu peor alternativa.
When you've been filthy, Snake Peel exfoliating scrub from Lynx. See how filthy boys get clean this summer at lynxmanwash.com.
We saved £87 on our car insurance when we challenged Churchill. Oh.
Yes.
And they really do guarantee to beat your renewal price.
Oh, yes.
And if we do have an accident, we can speak to a real person in this country, whatever time it is.
Oh, yes!
Oh, yeah!
No, come on, challenge Churchill. If you hadn't claimed for 3 years, we really do guarantee to beat your renewal price.
Each and every one of us has already competed against millions and won. We were born with the natural desire to learn new skills. It's part of our DNA and stays with us always. Better skills will help us overcome the future challenges we face at work. We all have it in us to broaden our skills, get rewarding work, earn good money, take control, and flourish. Our future, it's in our hands. For better skills, call 0800 011 3030 or visit us online.
Everybody wants perfect vision. Who wouldn't? No glasses, no contact lenses. I saw a difference immediately, and after a few hours, my sight was brilliant.
Ultralaser now offers the most advanced wavefront and iris recognition technology in all their clinics.
It's amazing that such a simple procedure can give such incredible results. How does it feel? Unbelievable.
For a free DVD and information pack, free phone 08000 08000 or visit ultralaser.com.
We all have a credit report. Yours could determine whether you get a yes or no when applying for credit and the rate of interest you pay. So if you're looking for a mortgage or home improvement loan, a new car, credit card or mobile phone, will the answer be yes or no? Credit Expert from Experian lets you access your credit report online, helping you get the yes you want. Take control of your credit history today. Visit creditexpert.co.uk now for your free 30-day trial.
As a little thank you, this August and September, we're bringing down the price of a Sky HD box for all our customers. And the longer you've been with us, the more you save. After all, you deserve the great quality of HD.
Here's Jack.
Just asking the guys, and I asked Dan as well, and he sort of thinks, he said he came up a bit, I came down a bit. We're running so close, just trying to get an advantage. It's, sometimes it's stupid like that. This thing, you're flat the whole time, and you're just looking for that advantage. So that is one of the parts I really enjoy this type of super speedway racing, when it is like that. But so whatever happened, we touched. The next thing I know, I'm upside down. I open my eyes and I'm going backwards about 30 feet in the air. And I thought, oh, this isn't good. When it came down, it actually didn't feel that bad. I've since found out I came down on top of Scott. So I'm really glad he's okay. I'm glad everybody's okay, everybody involved. And I said to Scott, we've got to stop meeting like that. We've been running side by side in so many races recently, and he definitely helped me out. But I'm just glad everybody's okay. It's not a lot of fun when it's like this.
When does it really begin to sink in? Monday or Tuesday, about how maybe close you came?
I think when I stopped and I realised I was in one piece, I couldn't quite believe it. I still can't believe it. So it's sunk in already. Believe me, it's sunk in. I'm a lucky guy.
Yes, you are. I'm glad to see you're okay.
Oh yeah, they're getting the stuff ready to go. So they must think they've got that thing.
He has his balaclava in his hand. He's got his helmet is right there near him. He's putting the earplugs in. So hopefully in a couple laps we'll see him back out there. And wouldn't it be amazing if he won this title by 2 points or 3 points?
Yeah.
We look back at this race.
And Foyt is back on the racetrack, so probably not going to pass Foyt.
He won't pass Foyt then, so he'll finish 9th at best.
But that would be a huge gain for him, a huge victory, really, to just get back out there and run a few laps and get those 5 or 6 points that he would gain. Rather than going down by 4, he might gain.
Well, he's going to right now, unofficially, if he can gain those positions, he'll get 4 points. And what did we say? He was going to be down by how many? 28, 28.
Yeah, he was going to lose 4. So it's
going to be back where it was when the race began at 24 down.
But still, that's better than losing the 4 points. So could make a difference in the end. You never know. But at this point in the game, and this point in the race, you can't give anything away. If there's a shot, if you got any kind of a chance at all in gaining a point or two, you've got to go back out and do it.
There he goes.
25 laps. Oh, they had the thing fired and everything, but pushed him out through there.
So, let's say we're going to restart 8 cars. Let's see how many laps he takes, because obviously he has no idea how this car is going to handle.
Right. So, he's 26 laps behind, so at lap 174, he'll pull in no matter what, because at that point he can't gain any laps anyway.
If he can gain 4 points back, then they'll be exactly where it was when they entered this race. 24 points was the discrepancy between first and second.
Yeah, so he's very interesting move, very smart move on their part. If you're battling for a championship, you got to do everything you can.
Well, his length of yellow also helped them out. It gave them a little more time to work on the car. So he's on the track under yellow, so he'll pick up another lap here. He could, if this yellow lasts long enough, he could pick up 2 laps before they ever start the green.
Yeah, and he's not going to stay out there. He'll stay out till they reach about 1 lap 74, 175, and then he'll just pull back in, because at that point he won't be able to pass anybody but Foyt. He could stay out there, I guess, hoping that Foyt will fall out, but we'll wait and see. I would guess he probably wouldn't.
30 laps to go. Scott Sharp, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Tony Kanaan, Koski Matsura, Danica Patrick, Marco Andretti, Buddy Rice, and now Scott Dixon. We should get the green, Larry, this time by a lengthy yellow that came out 143 as we complete 171. Almost 30 laps under yellow.
Oh, Marco got a big jump. I wonder if he'll get penalized, because he passed Danica way back there in the corner. He may get a penalty for that. He got a big jump on everybody. Now we'll wait and see. But it appeared to me that Marco got a very, he went from back in 6th place to the lead in one corner because he had such a huge jump on everybody. And he was around Danica.
He was to hear from race control on whether he gets black flag.
Yeah, we're hearing that race control says he jumped the restart, and I believe he did. He's trying to let everybody back around him. Now, I guess, I don't know. We'll wait and see. If he lets everybody back around him, do they not black flag him? We'll see. But
I guess we're going to wait and find out.
Yeah, because he passed a lot of cars before he ever got to that start-finish line. He passed Danica way back before he ever even got to the corner.
Look at Danica on the high side now of Sharp. There's the replay on the right.
See, he was around Danica way back in the corner, and then he passed 3 other cars before he ever got to the start-finish line. So, oops. And
apparently he had to drop behind the 7 for his penalty, so he will not be black flagged.
Well, he got down on the inside right there of Scott Sharp and was below that white line. Again, very risky, because if you make a pass below the white line, that's not supposed to be legal either. So we'll see if there's a penalty for that. But obviously, very anxious young man at this point.
Well, I will tell you that Dixon now has moved up to 9th position. But he has 9 laps behind A.J. Foyt, so Foyt would have to drop out, and he'd have to run those 9 laps to get by him. We'll see how long they leave Scott Dixon out of this racetrack.
You see Danica having a little bit of trouble getting around Scott Sharp. We said that any of those 4 would have a chance to win this race, and that appears the way it's going to shake out, as all 4 of them running very well at this point.
Well, Tony Kanaan is your leader over Andretti. Apparently he was not going to get penalized for going below the white line. There's Scott Sharp back in 3rd. Danica Patrick rides in 4th.
Well, right now, Scott Sharp looking very strong. He qualified very well. That whole team's been doing much better the last 3 or 4 races, especially on their qualifying effort. And now that those other cars have kind of shaken out, he's right in the hunt and running right with the leaders.
Tony Kanaan looking for his 3rd win of the year. Of course, Sharp looking for his 1st win. Marco looking for his 1st win of the year. And Danica looking for her 1st win. Of course, Marco won last year at Infineon. Scott Sharp is like the 3rd winningest driver in the IRL. It looks like Sam Hornish is going to return to the fray.
He's going to try to come out. Now then, that's going to force Dixon to stay on the racetrack, probably. because if he pulls in, then Hornish could go back around him. So he's going to force Dixon to stay out on the racetrack at whatever speed he's running, which is not very fast.
Well, it looks like obviously Danica has gotten around Sharp. Now Sharp is being pressured by Hunter Ray. And there's your top three. And guess what? They all drive for
Michael Andretti. What a surprise. All three of them very quick right now. And there's no team orders in this group, let me tell you.
Every man, every woman for himself.
Everybody's going to be trying to win this race.
Dixon, this is interesting. Said that would force him to stay out, but apparently he's going to call today.
Yeah, he is, and we'll see if that's a good decision or bad decision with Hornish going back out on the racetrack.
That'll put Dixon back to 10th, and Hornish can make up the gap and will finish in 9th position. So there will be a 25-point gap between first and second. So he actually lost. We're saying 23 right now, but it's going to be 25 when this thing's over.
Meanwhile, on the racetrack,
at the front of the pack,
three cars all trying to figure out what they can do to win this race. Tony Kanaan, pretty much
Danica's sister, her younger sister. You know, in the cowboy movies, they'd say, "And now back at the ranch."
Yeah, that's right.
Brooke looks on.
Meanwhile, Danica trying to figure out what she can do to get around her two teammates. All three cars very, very equal on the racetrack.
Yeah, the sad part is, Larry, if she wins this thing, the detractors are going to say, well, she won it because a bunch of guys got crashed.
Now, all three of these cars were very much in the hunt before the crash, so it doesn't matter all that much. Their names, whoever wins it, their name's going to go in the record book. Doesn't matter how it got
the trophy.
They won the trophy. They won the money. One way or the other, as Scott Sharp kind of moves himself back up into the fray here. Danica, for some reason, is falling off the pace.
Danica has a problem, and she heads for pit lane. Is this going to be a repeat of last year, Larry?
Well, I'm not sure what it is. We'll see. Maybe this is a strategy move. Maybe she thinks she can't make it to the end. She's going to have some fuel. That's all it is. No.
Now they're changing the right rear.
Okay, then she had a right rear going down. That'll cost her a chance to win the race. What a tough break. What a tough break. She had problems with the right rear and had to come in and change the right rear tire. So really, really a tough break for her.
And you look at the anguish on her sister's face.
Yeah, that was, nothing you can do when you have a flash. You could run over something on the racetrack.
Run that back now.
Pretty much ends her day.
Looks like it's going to be a two-pony race now.
Yeah, looks like Scott Sharp and Matsura. Matsura doing a heck of a job back there trying to get around Scott Sharp. These are teammates. We talk a lot about teammates. Don't talk too much about these two, but they have been teammates all year long.
Up on 3 laps to go.
Yeah, it was a tough break for her. Her car was every bit as fast as these two out here. Don't know that it was any faster, whether she could have ever done anything with them, but it would have certainly been a different race because every time Marco moved out like that, she would have had an opportunity to stick her nose in on the inside or to help push him on by. Now then, he's got nobody out there to help him push by.
Look at this.
Look at this.
Run. He got a nose up on Kanaan, side by side, wheel to wheel, and Michael is thinking, don't crash my two race cars.
Wow, that time it looked like he actually had it pulled off. He got out there, got clear past him, it appeared, but just not enough room to pull down in front of him and cut him off.
Here he comes again.
It's a big run down that end of the racetrack every time. Not that time.
White flag out this time by. Just over a lap and a half to go here at Michigan. What could be the final IndyCar race. After racing here for 40 seasons, there is no date on the schedule for next year, but hopefully in a couple of years we can come back because we love this type of competition, Larry. White flag comes out for the Andretti Green teammates of Tony Kanaan and Marco Andretti. 1 lap to go. Does he have something for him?
Well, he's certainly going to try again. This is where he's made his move every time and almost made it work. He goes to the outside. He holds his line through 1 and 2. But down the back straightaways where he's fallen back before. This time, no, just not going to be able to do it. It doesn't look like. Kanaan's going to once again pull ahead, going through 3 and 4, the same as he's done the last several laps.
And Kanaan will pick up his 3rd win of the year. And that's how close it was.
Wow. First.
Marco 2nd, Scott Sharp 3rd. Kotsky Matsura goes in 4th. Buddy Rice 5th. Hunter Ray is 6th. 7th, Danica Patrick. 8th, AJ Foyt. 9th is Sam Hornish. And there also is a guy that will make his way to victory lane to congratulate his buddy. Well, there's a look at victory lane. It's been a long time coming. Same thing happened last year. A long rain delay. And it was a lengthy broadcast last year as Kanaan tries to get the helmet and the Hans device off.
Yeah, they're trying to help him. I'm not sure whether they helped all that much or more of a problem, but
pulling on his ears.
Yeah, he's going to be a lot happier guy today than he was yesterday. After qualifying yesterday, he was very upset. They had some problems. He thought he was starting back in the field too far, but in the end it didn't really matter because he was a contender all day long. There's a couple of teammates, Danica and Dario, both didn't have all that great of luck, but I'm sure she's telling him she's just glad to see him walking around in there.
Yeah, because she had a pretty good view of that when he took flight.
Yeah,
she was on the high side and escaped on the high side, but off to her left and up, she could see him fly through the air backwards.
About the teacher taking the student to school those last few laps.
I have to say we did not have the fast car, and the kid was my wingman, and I knew it. I mean, he's my true teammate, and that's what's the beauty. And he was trying, trust me, he was trying, but he protected me, and I said, hey, let's play it at the end. If you can be quicker than me, you're gonna win. If I can, you're gonna win. So
there you go. Marco, he just called you the wingman.
Yeah, he's the ultimate wingman for sure. This is his day. Interview him.
All right, there you go. Let's talk for a moment too. If I'm not mistaken, is this the first race without your bride that's back in Brazil?
Yeah, I mean, it's for you. I think it's been tough. It's been, we're far away, and the baby's on the way. A month and 20 days now, so I think I have a good gift to send it to her right now.
Let's talk about comparing this to your first victory. Your first career victory came here, and I know how emotional you were there. What about this time?
I'm happy. I mean, it's not the same as here. Are you okay? Sorry. Oh, how are you? We're there. It feels good. I mean, it's sad that we're going away, but as you guys saw, it was a crazy race. So kind of a mixed feelings about if I'm gonna miss it or not, but. It's a special for sure. Every win's a special, and it was good for the team. I would say we did what we were supposed to do. Feel sorry for Dario, but as worse as it could be, Dixon went with him. So we're looking good. Let's try to catch up to Dario in the championship and maybe finish one too.
More sport, news and views at skysports.com.